Well, I got something a little bit different for you today. Wapow! A Micro 3X Magnifier by Vortex. This comes to us courtesy of Patreon provider Scott. Scott, thank you very much. He included this with the Vortex Spark AR and said, have fun with it. So I think I will. This is actually the first time I've ever reviewed a magnifier before, and I'm quite excited. These come very highly regarded, and I'm very excited to get behind this. I'm going to review this exactly how I would any other sort of scope. Use the damn thing. So, what do we got? You know what? Before I pull that out, let's take a look at the mount. Right off the bat, really nice quick release. Now, this is very crucial because let's say you wanted to take it off in the middle of a match, or you didn't want to have it on your gun just in case, or whatever reason you might have, or if you know you're not going to need it. You know, if you're going to be working inside of 100 yards, you might not need to have this on your firearm. So quick release is awesome. Patent number down there, and you got a couple little features here. Now, the first time I tried deploying this, it was quite difficult. Let's see if, there we go. It's got so much spring tension on it that I'd be worried about ripping the screws out of the bottom of the magnifier itself, but I would probably not worry about it too much. Just know that it's very, very tight. But I'd rather be very tight and stay where I want it to stay as opposed to being loose and then flopping all over the place. So right off the bat, this mount is fantastic. I almost wonder if I could use this for something other than a magnifier, but nothing's coming to mind right now. What would you use this for, other than a magnifier? You know what? What is this? Cleaning cloth. I can put that back. Got a little tool in there, I believe. Actually, no, it looks like a spacer. Yep, that is a spacer. So in case you had to change your co-witness on that. Very cool. And then you got a little Allen key and, of course, the 4 lock screws. But here it is. Magnificent. This is actually very small. What can I compare this to? I will compare it with another Vortex product, a Strikefire 2. About half the size. So when they call this a Micro 3X, it really is a Micro 3X. Fantastic. And while I have it in one hand, you note that it's got some weight to it. This definitely doesn't feel like a piece of garbage. And I've come to expect a lot from Vortex optics. Even on their cheapest of cheap, they're still pretty good. Yeah, they might have some drawbacks, like on that Spark AR where you're looking through a drinking straw as opposed to a big wide piece of glass. But they're well built, and this seems to be no exception. Looking through it, I gotta say, eye relief is pretty tight. It's only got about an inch of usable swing from max to min, but it's very clear, and it seems pretty damn sharp. Now, there is no adjustment other than your ocular adjustment in the back, and that is just so you can get whatever red dot you're using this on to be as in focus as possible. No surprise there. However, real quick, you're going to note that this has windage and elevation adjustments. Why? Well, you have to perfectly center this on your reticle. Now, your reticle might not be perfectly centered on your red dot, but you have to make sure that this is perfectly centered on that. If not, it might skew the image. Back at it, it's pretty sweet. I gotta say, I can see why people would like this. The eye box might be a little bit tight, but the body of the magnifier itself seems to blend into the background quite well. So far so good. And now let's take a look, or rather a sound check on the controls. So up is pointing that way, and right is pointing that way. Let's have a listen. Very good. Let's listen to the windage. This is a little bit tighter than the elevation, but it still sounds very good. And I'm sure it's going to work perfectly fine. And that's basically it. There's not much else I can really talk about it, other than it looks pretty damn good. Made in China, but again, what can you expect sometimes? But I can see the appeal in this. I'm really excited to try this out because I'm wondering if I would actually like this setup. Scott, thank you very much for sending this over. I can't wait to figure out how I'm going to film with this and shoot with it on 22, but I'm very excited to try. And thank you all very much for watching. See you again next time.